Welcome to the BuyBox Experts podcast. We bring to light the unique opportunities brands face in today's e-commerce world.
Hey, and welcome to the BuyBox Experts podcast. This is Eric Stopper. Today's episode is brought to you by BuyBox Experts. BuyBox Experts takes ambitious brands and makes them unbeatable. We've got a team of consultants. I am one of them. Come and reach out to us. Go to buyboxexperts.com. Click on the free analysis button. You'll be connected with me or a member of my team, and we will just subject your listings and your account to violent scrutiny so that you can run a better business. Buyboxexperts.com. Click on the free analysis button. Today, I am pleased to be joined by Liz Fickenscher, Industry Liaison at eComEngine. Liz is a collector, a writer, a speaker, and a friend. You can find her on webinars and blog posts and many industry events. Go and check it out on YouTube and on the eComEngine blog. Liz, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Eric. I'm happy to be here.
So I want to hit on the kind of the most critical things as of the date of this podcast. And I mean specifically the kind of the review changes that Amazon has been making over the last few months. What is the state of everything? I saw that request a review button pop up, and a lot of people have been wondering what to do with it. Can you kind of give us the full rundown?
Sure. So at the end of 2019, Amazon introduced that request a review button. So you go into your orders, you go to a particular order, up in the right-hand corner, there's a little button that says request a review. You click that, it sends a message to your buyer that does not go through buyer-seller messaging. It goes through a completely different mechanism, and it's an email that Amazon actually wrote. It's not, you can't edit it, you can't customize it at all. It pops in a picture of the product that the customer ordered. It also pops in a place where the recipient can leave seller feedback. So it's a two-shot product review, seller feedback. It is delivered to the recipient in their chosen language, and Amazon's been super excited about it. So they approached us and said, hey, do you want this? We want you to have this for Feed by 5. So we worked with them and we rolled it out to all of our users, and it's available for all of our new users, potential users. And it's just super easy. And what it does is it just automates the clicking of that button pretty much. It doesn't click the button for you, but it works through the same mechanism, and you can just sort of set it and forget it, and you don't have to click the button a whole bunch.
Now, this doesn't replace like custom emails that you can send to people after the point of purchase, does it?
I think that you have to choose either or as a seller. I definitely don't recommend requesting a review both ways, because that will definitely get your buyer seller message in trouble. I think you have to pick one or the other. So we've got some people who have decided to stick with buyer seller messaging the old way, let's call it the old way. They've stuck with the old way because they've worked hard on their templates, because their template is well converting for them, and they're not ready to make the move yet. However, I don't know if you guys saw it. I think you did, but last year, Amazon started restricting sellers from proactive buyer seller messaging. They got this scary email that says you may have done one of the following, and they didn't tell you which one you did. I was having a conversation the other day, and somebody said it was like getting pulled over by the cops and getting a ticket, but you didn't know what for. So you either speeded, or you followed too closely, or you ran a stop sign, but we're not going to tell you which one you did.
And show up in court on this day.
Right. So that restriction started out small, 7 days, 5 days, and then it launched into a full-on 30-day restriction from proactive buyer seller messaging. And what we're seeing now is that people who've been restricted more than once could receive a permanent ban from proactive buyer seller messaging. So those folks are definitely using the request a review functionality, because it doesn't go through buyer seller messaging. Amazon has said to us, yes, restricted people can use it because it's not buyer seller messaging. So it's a way for them to continue their outreach in a less personalized way, but still continue to send that out. And we're actually seeing it convert pretty well. We don't have hard data yet. I just have anecdotal stuff. But not only are a lot of our customers seeing an increase in reviews, but they're also seeing an increase in positive seller feedback. And what I think is that you get an email as a human, and it's got 2 sets of stars on it, and you're not going to like click one set of stars and not the other one. You're going to feel like you didn't finish, I guess. So people have actually seen an increase in positive seller feedback as well, because that email asks for both.
Interesting. Okay. So it could even be a play for just garnering some different types of feedback. Now, if you had to, it sounds like if you have to choose between the two, you would want to go with the one that's more customized though. And then just as soon as they start restricting you, you just move to the one that Amazon built.
Well, I mean, that's not how I would personally
Sure.
say
What do
it,
you think?
but I think that if you're following the rules and you've been asking for reviews for a while now and you haven't been restricted, and again, you're following the rules, and there are a lot of them, and they're in a lot of different places on Seller Central. But I think that right now there's no harm in using the old way and using buyer seller messaging to send your customized emails. But I do know, and I've seen that there's been increased scrutiny on those emails, and I don't think that either the machine learning that's flagging emails in buyer seller messaging, nor the folks that are actually manually reviewing them are all necessarily on the same page in terms of what the rules mean. I think that there's a lot of interpretation going on, and I don't know that there's a memo or a booklet or a PDF that people are following.
a Jeff Bezos Slack message
Yeah,
that goes in the whole company.
I don't think there is, because I think Amazon's still trying to figure all this out, right? So if you think about the history of product reviews on Amazon let people start leaving reviews in 1995, I think, and that was before they let third-party sellers onto the platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were like, hey, we've got this online marketplace and people can't pick up and touch and look at and smell an item, so we've got to have some way for potential shoppers to know what people think of this particular item. So then when they let third-party sellers on the marketplace, reviews were already in place, and of course automatically the game started, then the black hat stuff started. So it's gone through a whole lot of changes. I mean, if you remember way back in the day, you used to be able to send your item to somebody either for free or for a really, really deep discount and say, hey, will you please review this? And that was totally fine. You just had to say,
don't remind me of the good old days, Liz.
The good old days, right? I mean, I call that review gate, right? Because that was such a huge shock. It was October 2016. And I had just actually come on full time with eComEngine. I'd been working with eComEngine for a couple of years, but I had just come on full time in August, and in October that hit, and it changed the game altogether. So then Amazon introduced the early reviewer program to kind of say, sorry about that, guys, but people were really taking advantage. And they did studies and noticed that the majority of reviews that were left in 2016 and the end of 2015 were those incentivized reviews. So Amazon was like, well, that's not going to cut it, because we can't just have all these reviews that are by people who got the product for free. How do we know that that's real? And Amazon's customer obsessed, right? So they want to create the best experience for the shoppers on their marketplace. So they thought, we've got to do this a different way, because this is not going to work. So they introduced early reviewer. They rolled Vine out last year back to third-party sellers. I don't think it's in action right this second, but that's another option that's an Amazon approved, like Amazon created way to get reviews. But this request a review thing is also Amazon born, and I think they're pretty excited about it. And I think that right now that's kind of the hotness.
Yeah.
But there are plenty of people that are still using buyer seller messaging.
I have my Feedback 5, the custom one is still sending. I have all my beautiful templates. And I haven't been restricted or anything quite yet, but I've got my finger on the trigger there. So it seems to me, so my uncle he just started heading up this program at Amazon, basically trying to catch counterfeit sellers and trying to stomp out these unauthorized review bots and companies. Great. And his sentiment, right, is that it's impossible to get on top of it, right? It really, like, the task is just so enormously dynamic, and people are so not willing to abide by rules that they're literally just playing whack-a-mole. And so it seems to me that there will always be these major shifts in reviews as Amazon is trying to get on top of it. And this might be asking you to look a little bit too far into the crystal ball, but what do you think the next biggest change is going to be? The request a review button was kind of big, but is it going to be only voice reviews, right, in the future? Only reviews coming through Alexa? What do you think?
I don't think that that's necessary. I mean, there aren't quite enough people, I think, with an Alexa device to make that a requirement. The fact that the request a review thing is so different in that also, in addition to the fact that it's a whole different way to ask for reviews and Amazon wrote the email, et cetera, now people can just leave ratings, right? So they don't actually have to write a review. They can just leave a star rating on the product or a star rating on your seller feedback. And that rolls up and we have yet to see how those things are going to be weighed. Are they going to be weighed, the same as a written review, or is it going to be less? I suspect it's probably going to be less, unless they're really moving toward we don't really care what you have to say about it. We just want you to leave a star rating, which I think would be extremely unhelpful. And I don't think they're going to go in that direction.
I mean, eventually I hope for the days, right, where I'm opening my Amazon package and my Apple Watch can sense how much dopamine is being dispensed into my brain, and they can just automatically give somebody some sort of rating on Amazon.
That is entirely too creepy, Eric.
Big brother is always looking out for you. That's kind of my thought.
He's always doing something.
And they are, right? So you and I were talking previously about the fact that Amazon opens your packages and they look at your inserts.
Sure. People are breaking Amazon's terms of service on their product inserts. It says right in the rules, do not ask for a positive review. Do not include any marketing information if you're asking for a review on a product insert, because then that would be considered an incentivized review. So you can put a coupon, right, in your package, but you can't ask for a review on that same coupon. Just like you can ask for a review, but you can't say, please leave a review. Your honest opinion matters to us and take 20% off your next order. You can't do that. And the reason Amazon knows, I said it's one of two things. They open packages to take a look at the insert to make sure it's TOS compliant, or they have employed psychics that can see inside the box, or people with x-ray vision. So it's one of three things. But I do know that people are getting dinged for non-compliant product inserts. So they're doing something where they can see it and they know what you've done. They know
I've made a bunch of deliberately non-compliant product inserts for some of my products just to see. So far, so good.
On fire.
Yeah. One of them is like a texting one. You text a number to a certain, or you text a word to a number, and then I think I have an ebook on that one that you can take advantage of. But then I have that person's email address, right? Like, I just want to see. I want to see how much scrutiny they're subjecting me to, and it seems a lot less than what everybody else is experiencing. Does Amazon do they bias their scrutiny that they're applying to sellers? Do they go category by category?
I thought yes at one point, but once the restrictions started happening and once I started really talking to not just our customers, but just sellers in the industry that have been suspended for reviews abuse, and I'm lucky enough to understand more of that because Chris McCabe is a good friend, and he has sort of let me know, hey, this is what's up. And I don't know if you're seeing it, are you seeing that? And we have good conversations about that to know what's going on in the industry. But I've seen $12 million a month sellers get suspended for reviews abuse.
Yep.
I mean,
big.
I don't know if it's by category, but they're certainly not saying, hey, you bring us enough money that we're not going to suspend you. Everybody is. And I've seen people who are just little mom and pop, very few orders a month. I've seen them get suspended too.
Yeah, it's devastating.
Absolutely.
So, I've got a couple of questions, and we can go a couple of different directions, but let's take just reviews in general and just do a quick breakdown. You were reading something to me before we started recording about the power of a single review from 0 to 1.
So buried deep in Seller Central in the early reviewer program information, Becky, our content manager, who's brilliant, dug up this little infographic that we can put in the show notes that says reviews can increase sales by up to 3.5 times. So reviews can impact discoverability, search ranking, and customer trust. A product's first review has been shown to increase sales by up to 3.5 times.
So that's such a funny statistic to me, because if I have 0 reviews on a product, I'm probably not selling that many, you know. Are they saying it's going from like 1 product to 4 products, or are they assuming you think that there's maybe a little bit more volume for that SKU?
Well, when you think about has been shown, I mean, how many times has that been shown?
It's kind of a weak thesis there.
It's definitely vague. So we don't know if that's like across the board. That's a great big statistic that accidentally got shared on a little infographic, and all of a sudden we're like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah.
But I suspect that it has been shown sometimes, or
at least once.
Yeah. Because the industry sort of standard is that in order for your reviews to really pick up for you in terms of visibility is between 20 and 22. So more than 20, not as many as 25, but that's kind of the sweet spot where you really start picking up momentum. So just 1 review, I don't know.
It's not gonna make or break the business. I've seen a couple of different ones. So I've got 4 brands that I manage myself. One of them, it was 15 reviews, and then we saw a double in sales without a double in advertising spend. Had another one that was 12. I had probably a 30% increase in sales with no advertising spend increase. And then I've heard that like once you cross 100 reviews, like your advertisements will pretty much convert, unless the biggest players in your category have thousands, right? Then you have to super work on your offer. So the numbers seem all over the place, and they seem to be category dependent. The bottom line, though, it seems, is you got to have some. You got to have some reviews, and there's a pretty clean process to get those, at least the first few reviews for your Amazon products. A combination of the early reviewer program and then using a tool, you know, like what eComEngine has, to be able to solicit but to be able to request those reviews. Is there anything else that you would give our sellers some advice on how to garner those first few reviews?
Well, one thing that I always sort of start off with is that you have to, at first, like from the very beginning, set yourself up to not get negative reviews. So you guys do listing optimization.
Yes, we do.
There's going to be a link to that in the show notes too. But if your listing misrepresents your product, you're going to get negative reviews. So from the very beginning, the birth of that product on the marketplace, you've got to make sure your listing, your product photos, your bullet points, and everything properly reflect the product that somebody's going to receive. Because if they get something that they don't expect, if it's not the color or the size they think it's going to be, they're going to leave a bad review. And people love to give you the bad news. So those negative reviews are easier to get than positive reviews are. People who are happy just tend to just
be
go
happy
along and be happy and use your product happily and not talk about it. So that's why you ask them, hey, how would you like to leave a review, so that millions of people on the Amazon marketplace can learn what you think about it.
I have some thoughts about consumer behavior here, and I want to see if you agree, because the difficulty of asking for reviews is getting more and more difficult, but we still have the capability of doing it. We're sending emails. Are we as customers just becoming more lazy? Or I feel like I trust reviews a lot, and so I feel a lot more willing to give them, because now I know in 2020 somebody's relying on me as a customer to tell them. Have you seen any major trends in this area?
Actually, as a shopper, yes. My husband bought me a t-shirt for my birthday, and it's, I wish I could, I washed it first and it's in the dryer, but it's it's a kitten that's attacking a ship, and it's like a kitten kraken kind of. And he read the reviews, and a couple people said this was not at all what I expected. It wasn't a good screen print. The screen print was very small. So obviously there was some sort of wild counterfeit kitten and kraken t-shirt bandit out there jumping on that listing and providing some bogus product to FBA. But my husband said I was a little nervous about this because there were negative reviews that said that the product was not what is expected. It turns out the one we got was exactly what he expected. But I think that what I've seen also when I shop and I look at reviews, I noticed that I was looking at an electronics product a couple weeks ago, and there were a ton of positive reviews, but they were all kind of worded the same. They all came in within the same 2 days. And somebody actually, like a shopper actually commented, I'm reading these reviews and they all sound like they were written by the same person, and they all came in within a couple of days. So I don't trust these reviews, and you shouldn't either. And I think that a lot of that is coming from the sort of general awareness that certain news people have been pointing toward the third-party seller universe. Because I mean, when I got first involved with eComEngine, I didn't know that there were third-party Amazon sellers.
Yeah,
like
you would have
2014.
never checked the date of a review, like 5-6 years ago. Neither would have I.
No, absolutely not. But BuzzFeed News and Vox and Verge and Consumer Reports and a lot of different news outlets are giving a lot of attention to bad actors on the marketplace, black hat tactics. I know that a lot of our friends get called all the time to comment on what's going on at Amazon, and they like to put news out there that informs the public. And part of that news is third-party sellers and what third-party sellers go through. So I think people, it's definitely not where, in a perfect world, right? The shoppers would help police the marketplace on behalf of third-party sellers, right? They would call out those bad reviews. They'd report those bad reviews to Amazon and say, hey, you know what? This looks bogus to me. Why don't you look into this? And I'm a customer, and you're customer obsessed. So, in a perfect world, that's the way it would be. And I have dreams that someday it will be that way. And you have this look on your face like that'll never happen. But I think it's closer. It's closer than it was.
You know what I'm thinking, right? Like, Amazon knows when I leave a review. Google knows when I leave a review. Facebook, golly, they know when I leave a review.
They know when you sneeze.
Yeah. So yeah, bless you. So my thought here is that we should be able as e-commerce business owners to be able to gather emails that only target people in our market who are willing to leave reviews, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Like, we should be able to delineate and find that kind of information about a person.
Think of all the ways that could be corrupted. Think of any way you could think of that could be twisted in a bad way to hurt other sellers and be a bad actor on the marketplace. It would be done. I mean, for a long time, if people left a review, you could see exactly who left the review. You could click on them.
Right.
In Feedback 5, when we pulled in product reviews, it was right there. We had buyer review match. It's something we marketed. And then Amazon said, we should probably be more careful with customer data. So buyer review match went away, and we were like, sorry guys, but Amazon doesn't want you to know who left you a review. You can see the username, but somebody can change their name too.
Right,
say,
right.
I hate this product. My name is I hate this product, and here's my long review about how much I hate this product.
Man, it would be purely selfish. Yeah, because you would have, you could even create a lookalike audience and not actually target those same people. But, there may even be, and this is just kind of anecdotal, guys, but you could target somebody based on the fact that they like a certain show on Netflix because it correlates with the fact that they're going to leave a review, right? Like, we could eventually get to the data analytics level where e-commerce companies are capable of doing that. But you're right. Amazon's protecting the data. If it ever does get released like that, it's going to be a scandal, probably.
Oh, heck yeah. Because, there are government rules about data protection. So
yeah. Well, let's shift gears for a second. I want to talk about, there's a lot of tools out there that we talked about on a webinar together. I think there's lots of stuff on the past podcasts that you've done. Recently, you and I have both kind of become aware of Landing Cube. And there are a few services like them, but theirs is the one that seems the most intuitive to me. I interviewed Thomas and got a glimpse into the tool, and I now have an account and I'm trying it out. But essentially what it does is it takes outside traffic from Facebook and Instagram ads typically. It routes them to a landing page that looks very much like Amazon. And there's a spot there that you can claim promotional codes for. And then it takes you to Amazon. I'm wondering, what are your thoughts about using a tool like that? Is it a redundant step in the process? Should we just take away all the extra steps? What do you think?
Well, I think that what Landing Cube does is very, very cool, and we've known them for a while now. The page doesn't have to look exactly like an Amazon page.
Mm-hmm.
They can actually create any landing page you want. And I don't think it's a huge issue. I don't think Amazon's ever going to really complain about driving traffic to Amazon.
Never, under no circumstance. Yeah.
So I think that's, I do think that you need to be careful about the kind of promotional code you use and the amount of discount that you give, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but if an item is discounted more than, I think 20%,
yeah,
it's not a verified purchase review. So if somebody follows the Yellow Brick Road and goes and buys your product and they buy it at more than a 20% discount and then they leave a review, then it's not a verified purchase review, and it doesn't come as much. Yeah, it's a total waste. So I would be careful about the type of discount you offer and how much of it the discount.
Yeah, the tool seems great to me. We need more data to understand like the conversion rates of those different paths. Sure. One of the questions that I've had is in regards to like the whole purchasing journey for a customer, right? Some of us, we see Facebook ad, Instagram ad, maybe we get retargeted on Google, or we're searching for a movie and we see it in there. And then eventually we get to Amazon and there's a purchase. And then I don't know how to retarget after the point of purchase. I understand that there are some ways.
You can't, technically. There are companies that try for you, or they try to create a lookalike audience. I don't know. People are using super URLs. It's against TOS. I'm very reluctant to encourage anybody to try to actually retarget their shoppers or to identify who their shoppers are. Amazon doesn't want you to have that data. So any clever way you figure out how to do it, you're actually breaking the rules. And I've spent too many years telling people to follow the rules and believing very strongly that you should, because that makes it a better marketplace for everybody. And I know I seem like a Pollyanna when I say that kind of stuff, but come on. I mean, if everybody's a cowboy, then it's the total outlaw Wild West, right? So it's a huge marketplace. There are rules. It's your job as a seller to follow the rules. However, if you have a Facebook audience and you send that Facebook audience to your fabulous new product, and you've been talking about your fabulous new product, and you've got people that are liking and loving your posts, there's nothing wrong with putting up an ad or sending a post to a group or something and saying, hey, did you buy it? If you did, it would be super if you'd leave a review on Amazon. That's sort of a spray and pray approach, but I have sellers that have done it and they've actually gotten some reviews from it. So it's not as data driven. It's not as technical. It's definitely more of a soft sort of attempt. The worth and value of it is debatable, definitely.
Sure.
But that is a way to do it that, again, Amazon's never going to punish you for sending traffic to them. So if you send them there and they buy it, and then you say, hey, you guys that I told this product about, if any of you bought it, please leave a review. And don't say, and still don't break the rules. Don't say leave a positive review, because Facebook talks to Amazon. I know that for a fact, just based on stories that I've been told by people because one of the rules, right, is that you can't leave a review on a relative or a boss's or a friend's product.
Last name, right? IP addresses, stuff like that. It's all tracked.
Whether or not they're friends on Facebook. And there are other ways too. I talked about, and I can't remember she's a vlogger, and she was talking about how her mom bought a product, and she verbally said, well, if you bought it, leave a review. They're not friends on Facebook. They didn't email about it, but the mom left a review and the review never made it onto the listing. So psychic
That's scary
again.
right there.
I don't know,
Big
but
brother.
totally watching. Totally.
Well, Liz, I mean, reviews, this has been kind of the this has been the Paul Revere kind of time. You're going out, making sure that everybody has the right information. What are you most excited for in the coming months for Amazon sellers and for just selling online in general?
I'm excited for people to be able to send all of their inventory back into FBA very soon. Without talking too much about what's going on right now. But if you look at the date, a lot's going on in the world. I'm excited for some clarity in terms of service. I'm excited for more advocacy for third-party sellers. And I'm excited for new programs that I think are going to come soon that make it easier for third-party sellers to be successful in the marketplace.
Is that a hint? Do you have some inside scoop that you're not allowed to tell us?
I can't say anything.
Well, that's all right. So stay tuned. Go to eComEngine.com. That's ECOMENGINE.com. They are a trusted partner of us. Love eComEngine. Love what they're doing over there. Liz, thank you so much for coming on the show.
We love you guys. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks for listening to the Buy Box Experts podcast. Be sure to click subscribe, check us out on the web, and we'll see you next time.